な子供を殴らない主義だが、仕事となれば別だ。手加減はしない。
So this video probably isn't going to be a very long one. It's just I noticed a couple of very hopeful commenters who probably haven't really thought about the card they were going to invest into. So I'm just here to trample all over their hopes and dreams, pointing out one very simple fact. Blackwing Arm Master could quite possibly be the worst ultra rare synchro monster we have ever seen come out of a box. Like, this is some Goyo Guardian level stuff, and honestly, I'd argue that Goyo is probably more useful. Now there is one really important problem with this card that a few of you might have overlooked, and it basically makes the card unplayable. But before I get into that, just a friendly reminder that if you do enjoy the content you are watching and would like to see more stuff from me, please consider subscribing to the channel. It's completely free and you can unsub at any time. Alright, let's get into the card. This card cannot be destroyed by battle, and you take no battle damage from attacks involving it. At the end of the damage step, if this card attacked a monster, you can place one wedge counter on that monster. You can remove all wedge counters from your opponent's monsters to reduce their attack and defense to 0 until the end of the turn. So the strategy with this card is very obvious, right? You just swing into your opponent's monsters since it can't be destroyed by battle, nor does it take battle damage, to place wedge counters on them, then you just remove the wedge counters, reduce their attack to 0 for a very easy OTK using your other monsters, right? Well, kind of, but it doesn't really work that way. You see, this card's effect to be able to remove the wedge counters isn't actually a quick effect. You can only do it during your main phase. So if you try to use this guy to reduce your opponent's monster to 0, you literally have to wait until your next turn to do so. You have to wait for your opponent to have an entire full turn again before you can even think about removing the wedge counters. So it's not ever really an OTK, it takes a massive amount of setup. And to top it off, the attack reduction will only last until the end of the turn anyway. So if you do manage to get this effect off, you better hope you kill them then and there, as otherwise you just lose all your openings. And the one thing I find completely hilarious about this card is you can't even use this card to farm the illiterate players in the game who don't bother to read. This card only places counters if it is the one to attack, not if it is attacked. Like, how am I meant to get funny clips of my opponents just swinging into my monsters blindly if the card doesn't actually allow that effect to go off? I also saw a couple of people who seem to think that this card is almost the solution to the fact Blackwing doesn't really have a super strong turn 1 play, purely because this monster can't be destroyed by battle. First of all, if you think summoning this card is even remotely better than a turn 1 Ancient Fairy Dragon into Necro Valley, you're just delusional. Secondly, this isn't 2017 Duel Links. We're not living in an era where Weevil store players can just set a Fortress Warrior pass and protect themselves from dying. That just won't work anymore. This is 2021. Let me just give you a little demonstration of some decks currently being played, and keep in mind I just said some decks, not meta decks. This is just a popular list of COG decks. And let me just point out every deck that contains a form of removal that isn't in the form of battle. That's right. Literally every single deck here does. Now there's a couple you can kind of make an argument about, like heroes, which generally don't run much outside of the occasional plasma, which most hero players don't even run anymore. But you kind of get the picture, right? That the vast majority of the game will take one look at this card and will just laugh. Now I know a few of you are probably hearing this and thinking, okay, cool. I'll just stick one copy in my deck just in case the opportunity presents itself where it might actually have a use. Well, what exactly are you cutting from your deck that makes this card worth running? Let's take a look at the standard Blackwing extra deck real quick. So right off the bat, we are not cutting any of these cards as they are indisputably core. That leaves 3 cards to choose from: Pixie, Sam Destroyer, and Malevolent Sin. Now, I don't really think I have to answer this for you, but I want you guys to take a look at these 3 cards and tell me that you honestly think that this piece of garbage is better. If your answer is, it's not, then brilliant, we're on the same page and this card will not be run. If you answered, it is, well then I think you probably should put down that stick of glue you're currently eating. Basically, in conclusion, this card's effect to remove counters not being a quick effect basically makes the card unplayable. Blackwings are already an OTK deck without this card's effect, so it's basically just a slower OTK anyway, it doesn't really feel any niche. The fact that its only protection is it cannot be destroyed by battle is pointless in current year, as just about every single deck that exists in the current landscape has removal outside of battle. This card can barely even make it into the Blackwing extra deck anyways, as I personally cannot see an extra deck slot it's worth replacing. The card's bad, and it most certainly will not be the buff Blackwing players are hoping for. Alright guys, that's it for my little rant. Let me know what you guys think. Am I wrong about anything? Did I overlook something? Let me know down below. And whilst you're down there, if you did enjoy this video and want to see more stuff from me, feel free to leave a like, and consider subscribing to the channel. Thank you guys for watching, laters.
Hey, big brother, can I watch SpongeBob?
Shut up, Mokuba. I'm busy flagging YouTube videos to compensate for the fact that I have an extremely small penis.
Oh.